Yeah, I've posted on Twitter. We've got an announcement going on Discord. I have a decent supply of cold beer and a handful of cocktail ingredients ready to go. I think I've got a plan.
It's dark and we're wearing sunglasses.
Yes.
Have to, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, well, what would it be for this?
What would be for what?
I'm trying to think what. It's like we've got a belly full of ramen. One remaining turbo cycle.
How many miles is it to the Kyoto summit?
It's 106 miles to the Kremlin. It's nighttime, and you're a robot. Hit it. You strike me as a cautious man, a person who checks his tires before every drive.
I mean, I would certainly be checking them if somebody had already sabotaged one of my cars.
Well, yes. Or
I
if you'd played any Sierra game ever.
I didn't play any of the really old ones.
Fair.
But I have seen them play.
Look, honestly, there was some innovation there. There really was. Like, the very first Space Quest has some cool ideas, but those games were punishing, man. I have a sinking feeling that the first electronic car to provide me with gold wing doors is probably going to end up being the one I buy. Shameful, really, but... Never said I wasn't an idiot.
Go to church.
Yep.
I've input the map data on the Kremlin's locations. Lift off.
Oh, right. We compared the maps and isolated the one probable location.
That's the one.
Flight configuration. Now gaining altitude.
Oh, hey. It's this shot again.
Jamie, please be safe.
Bookends.
Gillian, please keep in mind that we're working with a strict time limit.
50-year.
They say that. I'm not sure how much that's actually a thing in the game.
Snow.
Snow 9, to be specific. We've entered the Snow 9 region. Please put on your breathing filter. Direct inhalation is dangerous.
All right.
Radio transmissions will also be impossible from this point on. Understood? Now descending. Conversion to hover configuration complete. Gillian, we've arrived.
Yeah, just a bit.
No shit.
All right, now opening the door.
What's wrong? Won't open?
I've scanned it, and it's not locked. It is probably rusted into place.
Not surprising. After all, our friends always go in and out through the basement.
Let's push it together.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Weak. Liquid. I'm sure it's meant to look like him, but that's not my first thought. It's not just the hairstyle either. To me, that doesn't really look like any of the artwork random.
No.
To me, it looks like a Liquid Snake in a suit. Or possibly Luke Valentine without his glasses.
Luke Valentine, the dude from Helsing?
Yeah, a little bit.
It reminds me of something, and I'm not placing it.
Yeah, I wonder about that. It's some of the more anime hair we've seen in this, though.
It definitely stands out for that.
Yeah.
Looks a little bit like Sephiroth's hair, to be honest.
Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
Magna. Oh, as in random backwards?
Oh, could be a coincidence. Well, we do know he was using a fake account. We do know that massive explosion of his didn't actually manage to kill Chin Shu Ho.
Yeah, I smell a rat.
Yeah. Someone was quite legitimately asking last time, how in the world is Metal able to make calls when there's a sufficient amount of Snow 9 around? And, well, as far as I can tell, it depends on the situation. How much Snow 9 blocks and how much Snow 9 interferes with electrical signals. For the purpose of my own work, the fact that it does it as much as it does, just assume it to be more like chaff and less like snow, so it's in higher concentrations. That's the only explanation I can offer, because they're inconsistent with this too. I was wondering, are you still able to make video calls with Metal Gear? It's not. It's the furthest thing from important. I just have a list of supposedly hidden numbers that I'm not sure if you've called all of them yet. I realize this is an odd time to find out, but...
Yeah, I can't use the video phone here.
Oh, you can't? Yeah,
Nah,
no worries.
too much interference.
Oh, consistent law. Well, you know what? That'll be a fun thing to leave in for someone who decides to play Snatcher after us. Apparently, the numbers you can call are as follows. 078-119 256-128 and 078-177. I don't know what those numbers lead to. It's apparently they are secret numbers.
Huh.
Oh, and I looked back over my notes, and that note I had last time that just said cell reconstruction, fucking Konami. It's a hidden message. I forget which version it's in. But when Metal Gear is doing the reconstruction of the 4 bodies, and there's all that data flashing up on his screen, in some versions, if you look very carefully, I believe it's Japanese versions only, then amongst the random words flashing around on his screen, you can see the word fucking Konami.
Oh, weird. Rex
Yes.
is here. He asked how Jamie and the Snatchers were able to call us, and Metal Gear answered his question. Likely some kind of specific high-powered transmitter.
Ahahaha. Very cool. Phew, I'm still in the clear. And I'll be sure to use that myself sometime.
Alright, what's in the pack? Oh, that's in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and there's Cyrillic letters on the floor.
Oh. Yeah, man, there is.
At least I think that's what that is. I recognize that. Odd
Yeah,
letter
yeah,
that's like
yeah.
a P with a leg.
Yes. One moment.
One moment.
One very slight moment.
Yeah, really, we should dispose of all of these while we have the opportunity. Rex raises a fair point.
You know, interestingly enough, that sort of backwards P-looking 6 thing, best as I can figure is like it's like a hard sign. It's mostly for making the preceding consonant like a harder sound, I think. Never mind, disregard that. It's a lowercase b. It's meant to be used at the end of a word and sounds a bit like a P.
Near as I can tell, these are alphanumeric designations for each individual snatcher.
Yeah, there'll be just some sort of code not really made to be said out loud.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this isn't on the official soundtrack either.
Yeah, I don't recognize this track.
Nah. It was always, I think, one of the ones that I thought had a more sort of sinister vibe.
Rex says
Sort
it's
of more of a horror feel.
Yeah. Rex says the letter we were wondering about is definitely a B.
Yeah, okay, good to know. I like the little differences that make Snatchers different from the T-800.
Gender units?
Yeah.
Huh.
I guess it's just the stuff, it'll do stuff like tweak their voice box or something, but I don't know.
Ooh, 23rd Siberian Investigative Force.
Oh.
Did the Snatchers steal all their shit? Ooh.
Yeah, well, remember they were saying that the Siberian Investigative Force rescued you and Jamie, but one of them was a Snatcher? That one that was a Snatcher must have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. It's something they address in the radio play quite well, is that once, you don't need a lot of Snatchers, but if the right person is a Snatcher, boy do they get stuff done. In the radio play, they quite cleverly get one high-ranking member of an incredibly powerful and shady organization to be one Snatcher, and the other Snatcher, as I've said before, is Alice Gibson, so that, you know, if this person who's a member of an organization appears on the shipping record, then that's like, oh, what are these guys up to? What is Rug Hunt up to? But if it's just like some civilian, then although someone who looked close would be like, okay, that's weird. Why is this housewife's name on the shipping manifest? But it's not a name that immediately raises suspicion either. It's just a name. So for the current Neo Kobe problem, we have the Snatcher versions of Robin Goodman and Alice Gibson to thank.
Whoa.
I can't decide whether the person who doomed all of Neo Kobe's last name being Goodman is more of a Kojima move or more of a Suda move. Kind of both.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I may not have played enough Suda games to tell you.
He's got a... I feel like his names are more sort of pop culture-y and out there. Like, they're sort of more... They're in many ways more ridiculous, but in a way that's somehow less jarring than the name Hot Coldman.
This is where they fuse the artificial skin under the Snatcher's endostructure. First, they adjust the size of the still skinless Snatcher to the size of the individual who is to be snatched. The Snatcher's overall shape and size can be adjusted by expansion or contraction of sizing rods. Their sex is controlled by gender units, which are installed at this point. Then, the face is modified to match the intended victim by adjusting the size of the upper and lower jaw, cheekbones, temporal bones, and tooth alignment.
Just like Gibson said, that means there are limits to the size of the people that they can snatch.
That's right. The limits of the mechanism mean that they can't snatch children, the elderly, or people who are very tall or heavy. And this is where the artificial muscle's attached.
Is it organic?
No. It appears to be coated with a type of plastic gel capable of mechanical response. Like human muscles, it creates mechanical energy through chemical reactions. And this is where the artificial skin is attached. In order to prevent the synthetic cells, developed using biotechnological protein design techniques, from rejecting the inorganic material below, they attach it gradually over a number of days.
And this is the stuff that gets cancer if they stay out in the sun too long.
Finally, they attach body and scalp hair. The process involves transplant of synthetic hair follicles as well, so the hair will grow back if it's lost.
What about scars or birthmarks?
It would appear that they make those adjustments at this point in the process, as they would for wrinkles to simulate age.
Oh, pretty cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
There are some snatches that we will learn. I mean, again, when we get to the radio play, if we get to the radio play,
Hello, Garland.
there's very obviously many types of snatch process. This is just the one they're using here.
Ah,
There's a weird sort of first-generation bioroid snatch process where you can have someone wandering around who's a bioroid and a snatcher who has all these memories of the person who was snatched, remembers the last thing they remember when they were still human, and doesn't know they're a snatcher. That's a thing that can happen.
whoa.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's one of the things I'm looking to address is that even within Snatcher society, there's different sorts.
You think Kojima ever saw the movie Screamers?
I would guarantee it, pretty much. I get the impression he takes it. If he's not creating media, I assume him to be taking it in. Like, he probably listens to podcasts in his sleep and whatnot.
Malkin says, if it's a movie, Kojima saw it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he's seen Wild Zero, but I look forward to the day he does.
I don't think I've seen Wild Zero.
Oh, Wild Zero... Here's the tricky thing. I can never give an answer for favorite movie, but I can never give an answer for anything, but I always make sure to have a list of answers I can give if someone wants to know. So, like, I don't have a favorite color, but if someone asks me, I'll say it's chartreuse. And if they want a simpler answer, I'll say it's orange, even though those colors are nothing alike. If someone asks me what my favorite film is, I will either tell them Transformers the movie, 1986, or I'll tell them Wild Zero, because Wild Zero kind of has everything.
Oh, that reminds me. We were talking about, well, you were talking about certain movies that have had a lasting cultural influence in Japan.
Oh yes, yes.
And
more than others.
Specifically, you were talking about Blade Runner, but I remembered one
Yes.
that I had forgotten at the time of that conversation, which was Streets of Fire.
Streets of Fire, right?
Yeah. Now, Streets of Fire is it's billed as a rock and roll fable, and it has this
Oh,
strange sort of timeless setting where it's like the character has just come back from the war, but you don't know what the war is. The cars look like they could have variously come from the early 40s to the late 50s. It might be Chicago. There are K-Rail bars, but they're listening to music from the time of the movie's production, which I think was 83, I want to say.
I kind of love that.
Yeah, but this movie was apparently hugely influential on specifically 80s anime and beat-em-up video games.
Oh shit, I should see it then.
Yeah, the plot of Streets of Fire is basically, well, I should say, the plot of Streets of Rage is the same as Streets of Fire.
Huh.
And
So it's one of those.
there are direct visual shout-outs to this movie in a lot of series, to the point where there's a poster for it in the background of some animes.
Wow.
The opening sequence of the first OVA of Bubblegum Crisis, where Pris is on stage performing,
Yes.
her outfit is the same outfit from the opening sequence to Streets of Fire, more or less.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like a watershed moment for a bunch of like anime and Japanese pop culture.
It is.
Wow. Wow, I didn't know that. That's so cool. And something I definitely need to see.
Yeah. It's got Willem Dafoe and Rick Moranis in it.
Oh, Jesus, I was already sold, but now you've added Willem Dafoe to the mix.
Willem Dafoe was very young in this movie. Maybe the youngest I've seen.
Yeah, he would have been.
I've seen him.
Like, this is like before Platoon?
Shit, maybe. Let me check.
Wow.
What year was Platoon?
Oh, like 87? 88?
Okay, 86.
Right.
Streets of Fire was 84.
Whoa. Wow.
Did not turn a profit.
Oh, well then.
But
You know what? Sometimes it's not always about the profit.
I mean, a lot of the most interesting movies don't. Look at Rock and Rule.
Yeah. Yeah, no, rock and... It's, with a lot of that early animation, even if it wasn't 100% my thing, they fall under the category of important films to me.
Yes.
Yeah, because, like, there's the longest and most famous segment of heavy metal, I can't stress enough, kind of bores me to tears.
I
don't
can't
really
say I
care about the
agree.
ti-
I like Tarna.
The aspects I like. I think it's cool that Devo actually appears as themselves.
Yeah.
And look, the initial like mutating of people is like actually kind of spooky and got to me when I was a very small child. But it's a comparative thing because like I'm such a fucking voice acting buff, I guess, and I was also kind of like SCTV, and half the voice actors are just from fucking SCTV, just assuming roles that you wouldn't usually expect of them. I mean, I don't dislike the Tana segment. I just feel it's not the film's strongest, and yet it's the sort of longest and most promoted bit.
Rex
But I still consider it really important, even that segment.
Rex commented that it was my turn to expositate. Provide the exposition. I've done that a couple of times, Rex, in this playthrough.
True.
Just
I was going back over our old things and getting a chance to take it in properly, and the more I think about like the Furies and stuff like that, the more it's like that's actually a really genuinely terrifying concept.
yes, it didn't sink into me when I was a kid because I'm looking at titanium atmosphere and a bunch of polygons flying around, but
Yeah, exactly.
it could have been. It might be an example of a less is more kind of thing. Like
I mean that's
it's like I didn't understand. Like, where are the Furies? Are they in the saucers? But it's like no, they are the saucers.
that is much scarier.
Mr. Bad Guy's here.
I mean, like when it comes to my assessment of heavy metal, like I'm severely biased because I owe like at least 2 of my cereals to the fucking Captain Stern segment. Like, a bunch of my work would not exist without that, and I was like, so. And probably my favorite song of the film is "Reach Out" by Cheap Trick.
That's a good tune.
Yeah, and it's a weird fucking role for what's his name, Eugene Levy. So it's cool shit like that.
I don't know. I really like the opening riff of Reach Out in particular.
Yeah, Radar Rider.
Oh, yes, I love Radar Rider. But I was actually talking about
Yeah.
the opening riff of Reach Out.
Oh yeah.
I love Radar Rider. Radar Rider is one of my favorites on that soundtrack.
It's one of the things, whenever I made a Star Wars character in an RPG, be it pencil and paper or video game, if they had like a Millennium Falcon style ship, it was always just called the Radar Rider.
I love it.
I don't think I was good at Star Wars names because I had a character called Jehuti Swood.
Oh. Well, I named my, I tried to come up with decent names for all my Old Republic characters. My bounty hunter was Relian Weathers. Or just Rel.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Rel for short.
My bounty hunter was just called Janus Dirge because it's the absolute go-to name I've been using for about 2 decades now.
Pretty intimidating sounding name.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, Dirge.
Dirge, yeah, Dirge is a cool ass name.
Names to run away from really fast.
Yes. So, I mean, the advice for not getting snatched is similar to the advice for not being kidnapped. You just need to be really fast. No one will try and kidnap you. I mean, between my build and Scum's height, I don't think either of us can be snatched, which is nice.
So this is where the whole thing begins. The endostructures arrive here from the Kremlin. Then they convert them into copies of their victims. And finally, they head out into the city using the old subway system.
With artificial skin maintenance being handled at Queen's Hospital.
But who is behind all this?
Gillian, look at this. There are some finished snatchers over here.
Get a load of this. The U.S. President, the Prime Ministers of Japan, and the UK.
Gillian, you're in here too.
Figures. They were looking to snatch every VIP at the summit.
And the last junker, you. It definitely looks like they plan on moving out beyond Neo Kobe.
If they were to snatch every major world leader, they'd practically be able to control the planet. Still, that's odd. With their flawed skin, pulling something off like that would really be difficult.
Chin said they had found the key to developing a perfect artificial skin. Maybe they've already produced it.
No idea. But the number of snatchers here makes it clear that they're up to something new.
Gillian, this is definitely their nest. We should destroy everything.
Not yet. Not until we found Jamie. Metal, how much time do we have left?
The summit should have begun by now. We don't have much time. And once our legal privileges are suspended, I won't be able to help. In fact, I'll be forced to restrain you.
I know. If the military wants to avoid nukes and goes for a surgical strike on this facility, what would they likely use?
Probably a phased particle beam from one of the attack satellites.
A phased particle beam, huh? That'll wipe this complex right off the map.
Everything, including the soil, will simply evaporate. The attack will leave just a large crater.
Metal, can you convince them to give me another hour? Even 30 minutes will help.
Understood. I'll try my best.
And I'll try to find and rescue Jamie in that time.
I can't transmit here due to interference from the Snow 9. I'll have to leave the area and then send the message.
All right. Do it, Metal.
Gillian, don't forget. 30 minutes. You must get out before then.
I understand.
Gillian, I'm sorry I couldn't help you better.
Don't worry about it. I'll be able to move faster by myself anyway. 30 minutes should be plenty. Go, Metal.
Yes, sir. Don't forget. 30 minutes.
Oh, splitting the party.
That doesn't seem like a good
30
idea.
minutes? Oh, this is gonna be tight. That room's the only place left to check. Let's take a look.
Remember to keep your blaster handy.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, fuck.
We got them sectors in the air, and sectors of the gates, and sectors inside the walls, and sectors and sectors and sectors. We're shooting out the gates, and they're shooting in the air. We're shooting down the air, then it's in the walls. Where's that leave us? Nowhere, that's where.
Holy Jesus.
Whew. I wasn't ready for that. They almost got me.
That's actually one of your best rounds of shooting
Let's
yet.
open the next
Holy
door.
hell.
Whew.
Oh boy, and hey, guess what? It's gonna go like this again.
Oh, fuck. I'm gonna save.
Yep, more shooting. Hence, Mr. Bad Guy saying, oh boy, this bit. Get that trigger finger ready.
Yeah, Garland says, Chaos playing rhythm games like.
Pretty much.
What are these goddamn animals? Yeah, thank you, Mulligan. Fuck. My arm
No,
hurts.
those are the super insectors that jump around and whatnot.
I'm gonna take a second and shake my arm out.
Yeah, for real. Do what you gotta do, man. Because, I mean, like, the good news is, I'm pretty sure after this bit, you can just chill for a bit, and we're both gonna be relaxing or doing whatever. I'm gonna be trying to figure out the moonsault. I think I got something. We'll see how it goes. The proof of the pudding is in the eating, as the original saying goes. Which makes a little more sense than the proof is in the pudding. But you know, it's like...
that does make more sense.
It does. Well, it's like how there's like a generation of people who think that crazy as a coconut is a term, even though they misheard a song lyric.
Gum shooter.
You're a nut. You're crazy in the coconut, which just means crazy in the head. And then they're like, oh yeah, you know, crazy as a coconut. It's like, that's not a thing.
Something frontier psychiatry.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. 30 minutes out of Neo Kobe and the Snatcher started to take hold. Damn.
Oh, yeah, no. You did even better than we thought because, as Mr. Bad Guy pointed out, when the super insector hits you, it makes you flinch. It does the stun lock thing, so they can just stun lock you into oblivion.
Oh, God.
It's screwed.
Well,
Again, imagine what it'd be like if you'd done well in your target practice. I've seen that segment with good target practice results. Fucking hellish.
oh, boy. Save.
Doesn't look like there's anything here. Whoa!
Oh, actual Snatchers now.
Yep. Okay, that brings you up to 34 snatches
These
for what it's
guys are
worth,
tough.
so you're somewhat ahead of random now.
Didn't exactly expect him to welcome me with open arms. Okay, let's try this next door.
How about another save?
Can't hold out forever, Cap, but you can give them one humongous repair bill.
Yeah. I think we're running up a lot of repairs in this night. Oh fuck.
Oh, you didn't take the schmuck bait. Nice work.
Jamie, are you all right?
Gillian, you came for me.
Are you hurt?
No, they won't lay a finger on me. Not until the new artificial skin is completed anyway.
Artificial skin research? You?
Gillian, I've got my memory back. All of it.
What happened? Tell me, Jamie.
They said they'd kill him. They said they'd kill Harry. They forced me. I had to help them with the skin development. They said I had to help them because the professor was ill. Wasn't getting any better. Gillian, the engineer Harry, he's our son. He's been living on his own now for 50 years.
Jamie, I'm afraid that Harry's...
There was nothing I could do. They forced me. But I can't do it anymore.
Jamie!
The professor, he just died. He was over 100.
The professor? What? This old man?
Don't you remember? It's Professor Modner. Professor Petrovich Modner.
What? This old man is Modner?
He's been confined here for 3 years now, just to develop the Snatcher's artificial skin. Terrible. Doing that to your own father.
Whose father? Jamie, I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
You really can't remember, can you?
Jamie, tell me. Tell me who I am. What were we doing at the Kremlin?
Are you sure you really want me to, Gillian? It's all so awful, but if you must know, I'll tell you. Try to remain calm, okay? 56 years ago, you and I were involved in a top-secret Soviet project. It was still during the time of the Cold War. The gulf between East and West was as wide as ever. Everybody was worried about nukes. At that point, the world's armies were at their largest ever. Leaders still believed that a strong military meant a strong nation. There were rumors that there would be an agreement to end the production of nuclear weapons. On the other hand, the major powers like the US began to get involved in a space weapons race. But not the Soviets. The conservative despots in the Kremlin had another, completely different idea for gaining military superiority. A horrible plan, something no one else would think of. At that time, the countries of the communist bloc were facing an economic crisis. Popular movements pushing for democracy were springing up all over. Communism itself was facing extinction. Facing pressure from the reformers, the Kremlin began to panic. And that's when that horrible, childish plan was launched.
And that was the Snatcher Project. Replace your enemy's leaders with puppets of your own. Then you control their governments, their economies, take over a country from the inside out.
That's right, Gillian. And to develop these robots, they assembled some of the most brilliant scientific minds from around the world. Some of them were even brought in against their will. At the crux of that development effort was a group called the Frankenstein Project Team. You and I were members of that team, Gillian. It was a 4-person team led by the late Professor Modner here. The robotics expert was Professor Modner himself. His son, Elijah Modner, handled genetics and microbiology. For nanobiology and picobiology, myself. And for behavioral science and psychology, you, Gillian. Early development was carried out at a lab in Novosibirsk, but was later moved to a secret facility under the Kremlin. At the time, the Glasnost and Perestroika movements were gaining momentum, and they rightly feared for the existence of the program if it should become known. But some of the reformers did learn of the project, and they conspired with the US to block it. Gillian, you were a CIA special agent sent by the United States to infiltrate and sabotage the project.
I was CIA?
Yes, and the government knows that. That's why you were assigned to the Junker team.
What? Who am I?
Work on the project continued to go smoothly. But then, on June 6, 1996, there was that accident. A mysterious explosion at the Chernobyl facility spread a bacterial weapon that was under development there into the the atmosphere, destroying the country and the project. Gillian, was it you? Did you set off that explosion?
What? You can't be serious. You think I caused the catastrophe?
Somehow, during the confusion, Professor Modner and our son Harry managed to get picked up by American agents. But we couldn't get out in time. You and I and Elijah. In a shelter below the Kremlin, we entered a cryogenic sleep. Our plan was to sleep there until the toxic effects of the bacteria were safely passed.
And then 48 years later, 3 years ago, we were discovered by the 17th Special Investigative Force.
Yes, but when
Random is Elijah,
Elijah's pod was already empty.
isn't he?
Elijah Modner? That guy whose picture was in the church? The one that looks like Random?
That's right, Elijah is alive. Elijah is here and working on the Snatchers.
Why don't you let me finish your little story?
Who's there?
It's been a while, hasn't it, Jamie? Ah, yes. And Gillian. It's me, Jamie.
Elijah? Is that really you?
Random? No. Not quite.
So, you remember me, do you? I am Elijah Modnar, the only son of Professor Petrovich Modnar. I'm afraid I've grown somewhat old and feeble since we last met, however.
Elijah, why are you doing this? Your father, Professor Modner, he passed away a few minutes ago.
What? My father? My father is dead?
Elijah, what happened to you? The Elijah I knew could never do anything like this.
I've changed, Jamie. These 40 years have changed me.
I can't believe it. What happened to you?
What happened to me? Jamie, do I actually have to explain it to you? Jamie, it's you. Your beauty is the cause of all that has come to pass here. 57 years ago, I was obsessed. With my research, yes. And with you, Jamie. At the time, I was still young, having just graduated with my genetic engineering degree. My father's connections got me on the team, and there, I met you. You were working as my father's assistant. Your beauty, your smile, I was stricken. I saw something in you that I never felt with women of my own country. You warmed my cold, young heart, Jamie. You opened me up, and I couldn't stop my feelings.
Elijah.
Oh, I was so happy. The political situation was crumbling around us, but every day was a joy. I gained my father's trust, and with you there watching over me, I was able to work as hard as I ever have on the project. However, my happiness did not last for long. Gillian, it was you. You showed up and all was ruined. You arrived and joined our project team. Far from home, Jamie found comfort in a man from the same land. Your relationship grew quickly, and all I could do was stand by and watch. Jamie and Gillian fell in love, were joined, and even had a child.
Harry.
Even then, my feelings for you only grew stronger. Worried about me, my father tried to have me removed from the project, but I persisted. Jamie, I always wanted to be near you. And then, the democratic movements that had consumed the rest of the Eastern Bloc spread to our country as well. The Cold War was over. The hardliners who had pushed for its development were stripped of power and the project was cancelled. The reformers, trying to cover up the existence of such a crazed project, ordered that all materials related to it be destroyed and that we stand trial for our actions. Jamie and Gillian were to be returned to their homeland. That's about the time that I learned that you, Gillian, that you were a CIA agent, and that you were trying to pass documents on our research to your military. The country had sold us out. I'm no politician. I couldn't care less about what happened to the country. All I cared about was my research and Jamie. And I was to lose all of that, everything. For someone so young, you cannot understand how great of a shock that was.
Elijah.
That is when I decided, I swore I would see that secret, crazed project through to the end. At the time, the bioroids were 80% finished. The main part, their endostructure, was essentially completed. But we still were having trouble with the artificial skin. The area that Jamie and I were assigned to. We called it artificial skin, but there was of course no need to duplicate T lymphocytes, Langerhans cells, or endocrine cells. All we needed was keratinized cells and melanocytes to provide the pigment. With the artificial protein development techniques that we had in those days, full-scale synthetic cell development was very difficult. Research like this took months, years. The original project called for us to simultaneously snatch an entire country. In other words, a whole nation, or an entire city had to be snatched over the course of one night. For that reason, a powerful biological agent, which could quickly and effectively kill the population of the country, was being simultaneously developed.
Lucifer Alpha.
That's right. A type RAO11 virus which another team was developing. For someone like myself, who was closely involved in the project, blowing up the lab was quite a simple task.
My God, Elijah, do you know what you're saying? That explosion killed half the world's population.
I moved all the materials and records essential to the Bioroid project into the shelter, and executed my plan on June 6th. After sealing off the lab, I brought the two of you with me to the underground shelter, and we entered a cryogenic sleep. But not before I programmed an atmospheric research satellite to transmit a wake signal when the danger from Lucifer Alpha had passed.
And 10 years later, Lucifer Alpha naturally mutated into a non-toxic form.
But the automatic revival system failed to work.
Oh no, it worked. Just as planned. It revived me 10 years later. A little sooner than the two of you, of course.
But even though you sealed the lab with the explosion and everything, you should have been exposed. Why weren't you?
Oh, I was. But by that time, the vaccine Incels had already been developed.
So everything went just as you planned it then?
Yes, up until that point. But my real struggle was yet to come. My original plan was to revive Jamie as well, and for the two of us to finish the development of the bioroids. You, Gillian, you were to stay asleep forever. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Not after looking at Jamie's peaceful face there in the pod. Besides, I could never have convinced her to work with me on the project anyway. I knew the time was not yet right, so I changed the timers of your pods to permanent on.
How? How could you do such a thing?
And so for the next 40 years, I worked alone in that cold and lonely room under the Kremlin, trying to complete the artificial skin for the Snatchers. For days and days, no one would visit me. I never saw the sun or felt the changing of the seasons. Still, I always had Jamie by my side. You were always there for me to talk to. Just you and I for 40 years in that dark cellar.
Oh, you poor, poor man.
And then, 3 years ago, my research was finally completed. First, I snatched the Siberian Special Investigative Forces to establish a transport route for the Snatchers. And then, to test the effect of large-scale snatch operations, I chose Neo Kobe City to be my experimental sample. Neokobe is cut off from the surrounding areas, a sort of miniature country in itself, making it a perfect test site. And since it's a melting pot of various races, it would also allow me to gather extensive data on Snatcher modification and operational techniques. In addition, the element of suspicion or mistrust, which runs deep in Japanese culture, was another reason I chose this site.
But your test revealed a critical flaw in your machine's artificial skin.
Yes, quite unexpected, I'm afraid. All my research for 40 years. I gathered data and worked day and night to find a solution, but nothing seemed to work.
So that's why you decided to bring Professor Modner here, right?
That's correct. I discovered my father in one of the government's hospitals. He was old, but still very sound of mind. Naturally, he would not cooperate with me.
Of course not. He'd never become involved in something like that.
So, unable to receive his assistance, I decided that I had to have yours. But a mistake on my part allowed both you and Gillian to be taken into custody by the authorities first.
Just what are you trying to accomplish, Elijah? You must know you can never get Jamie back.
I'm only interested in discovering what I can of the human animal. In the past, it was because of Jamie. My motive is different now.
It sounds like you're just suffering from the wild arrogance that corrupts so many scientists.
Humans are such weak creatures. No matter how much they trust one another, the tiniest speck of suspicion can destroy it all. Look at how the Snatcher problem has caused such wild unrest. No matter how much science advances or how high we set our ideals, we eventually begin to suspect each other, to hate each other, and then to kill each other. The Snatchers are nothing more than a tool for bringing out this reaction. I am simply using the Snatchers to elicit the true nature of the human animal. I think this experiment has shown me the limits of human society. I sincerely doubt it will be able to reach any greater level of prosperity on its own. If human society ever hopes to reach greater heights, what is needed is an absolute leader, a firm ruler who isn't affected by these trivial episodes of mistrust.
You're crazy if you think people would ever obey Snatchers.
Of course they wouldn't. But if they don't know, they cannot object. There has been a time in every age that the people have longed for a god to lead them. As long as they give the people no reason to suspect them, then they can easily become their gods. Indeed, a new race of super beings. We are almost there. Once we perfect the artificial skin, Snatchers will transcend man to become this planet's true human beings.
But you'll never get your perfect skin now. Professor Modner is dead.
I no longer have any use for my father. I have a sample of the new skin he developed. Once I've analyzed it, I'll be able to make as much as I need. Or if need be, we could simply culture the keratinized cells, epithelial cells, and melanocytes in the quantities that we need.
What are you talking about? How could you get a sample of perfected artificial skin?
Why don't you take a look at this? We found this in the rubble of Queen's Hospital.
Random!
Oh, an acquaintance of yours?
He's a Snatcher?
That term isn't exactly accurate. This bioroid was constructed by my father without my knowledge. He modeled it after me in my youth. He built it right here in this facility. And not only that, he programmed it to destroy Snatchers. This bioroid caused me serious difficulties. It's designed and built far better than my Snatchers. The machine itself thought it was human. My father input memories for it all the way back to childhood. Those too were apparently mine. Haven't you yet realized? Random Hajil is Elijah Modner spelled backwards. How like my father, silly old man. He did virtually overnight what I could not do in 40 years of effort. Furthermore, he makes a bioroid so perfect, even the bioroid itself believes itself to be real. What's more, the cells of the skin he developed are self-replicating. Once in place, no further transplants or culturing is necessary.
Is he dead?
Its main and locomotive systems are completely shut down. It's just scrap now. But the artificial skin is being kept alive. This we need. With this, we can move to phase 2 of our plan of full-scale infiltration of the world's major nations.
The summit's already over. You'll never succeed.
What does the summit matter? Nothing holds us back now that we have this perfect skin. We can go anywhere we want, and there will be no way to tell us apart. I will have free control over the world. Nothing will be able to stop me. Politics and free thought will no longer have any meaning. My will alone will decide the course of human history.
You egomaniac. Do you think you can snatch the entire population?
There's a fully automated Snatcher factory under the Kremlin. Even as we speak, scores of new Snatchers are being born.
But no matter how hard you try, you won't be able to snatch the people's heart and soul. What do you hope to gain from this anyway?
Jamie, the human race is composed of fools. But I'm different. I will be its savior. Indeed, not just of mankind, but of all life on the planet.
I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Metal!
In 10 minutes, this church will be struck by a phased particle beam. I am guiding the beam from the attack satellite using GPS and 15 navigational satellites. The beam cannot miss. Everything in a 2 to 3 kilometer radius from me will be destroyed.
Stop this foolishness now. I will not have my research destroyed by some souped-up pocket calculator.
Metal, what happened at the summit?
The delegates, worried about the Snatcher menace, voted unanimously to allow the use of nuclear weapons on the city. The military is presently imposing a quarantine on Neo Kobe.
What? Do they intend to kill everybody?
The populace is in a state of panic. However, they have agreed to lift the quarantine if this church is struck by the phased particle beam. This is our last chance. I will handle things here. Gillian, Jamie, you two must flee.
You insignificant mass of metal. You'll never...
One move and I detonate. Gillian, run!
Metal, this is crazy!
We can't let a single Snatcher get out of here. And this new artificial skin has to be destroyed as well.
I will not allow some talking scrap pile to get away with this. If you were the aiming point for the beam, then I'll just have you thrown out of here. Grab this little one and take him out of here.
Metal!
Cowardly little robot.
You always were a real pain in the butt.
Da-dun, da-dun.
What's that?
Stone cold! Stone cold! Stone cold!
How did... You're supposed to be deactivated.
I don't go down that easy, old man.
Stop this foolish...
Shut up! Let's try to make our final moments peaceful, shall we? And you Snatchers, you touch the little guy and the old man's head comes off. Random! I've always hated being used. Why don't you watch the final act with me?
Gillian, you only have 5 minutes. The turbo cycle is just outside on standby. Use that to flee.
Let me go. I'm Elijah Modner. I'm your original.
I don't care if I'm an original or a copy or what. You and I are gonna die right here. If we both die, there won't be a copy anymore now, will there?
The stupid logic of a simpleton, of a machine. Whatever it is, it's my will! Machines have no will. Machines cannot sacrifice themselves. We'll see about that.
You have 4 minutes. You must go. And don't forget to take care of the factory under the Kremlin.
Stop! Gillian, even if these memories in my head are fiction...
Yeah, I know what you mean. Our memories of our time together are all too real, Random.
Gillian, you become one hell of a junker.
Gillian, it has been most recreational being your partner.
Oh, metal!
If you can, try to pick up the pieces for me, okay? Like we did for Little John.
Little John? Oh! Okay, Metal.
Hurry! You only have 3 minutes.
Thanks! Thanks, you two! Jamie, come on!
No! Don't let her go! No! You pathetic old fool! You don't even know how to love someone! You stupid machine! What is that idiotic grin supposed to mean? By snatching you, I'm finally gonna get my real self back!
Random, there's less than 1 minute to go. Thanks to you, everything will be fine.
You don't owe me any thanks. Sorry to get you involved in such a big job. You did great. You're a hell of a junker.
3, 2, 1, here it comes!
Later, kid!
Hey, it's Thunderbird 2.
Yes, it is. It's aerodynamically unsound. So hey,
So you're really going, aren't you?
It's our responsibility, too. Besides, if I go to Moscow, I may get some of my memory back. And if that happens, I'll be able to love you even more than I do now. Wait for me. I want to be with you, but first I've got to destroy this terrible factory of theirs. Jamie, when I get back, let's try living together again. What do you say?
We'll be waiting for you, too.
Katrina! Mika! You're here, too?
You better be happy, Buster, with all these beautiful women seeing you off.
I'm happy you came. Let me introduce my wife.
Jamie Seed. I suppose it's a little odd introducing myself a second time, though.
What do you mean? You've never met them before, have you?
What are you talking about, Gillian? We're good friends.
Huh? Since when?
It's the first time I've met her in person, but I've spoken with her on the video phone a lot of times.
What? Have you guys been talking about me behind my back?
they've been exchanging pepper spray recipes. You'll notice like a lot of new like talking head shots in this chapter specifically. You might have noticed in that final confrontation we got a bunch of shots of Gillian talking that were never ever used before. Very severe, sort of almost DLC effect to a lot of this chapter.
Yeah.
It's quicker than I remember though, it's kind of nice. I think it's because you fucking aced the shooting bits again. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is the first instance of Kojima making a villainous character a simpy incel. but it was a tradition he would continue. Do you realize,
I'm hard pressed to come up with on the spot a simpier and sillier villain than what I just witnessed.
Exactly, yeah. He might be their god.
Like this is the super prototype for that type of character.
He is Patient X. Literally kills 80% of the world's population.
Like, Jesus.
And then stares at an unconscious woman for 48 years.
Fuck you.
Yeah. I don't know if this is true or not. I've had multiple people from multiple backgrounds tell me that initially Kojima wanted people to really hate, or at least like dislike Otacon as a character. Because he was in love with someone who didn't love him back, and because the things he did, because, you know, he was naive or, you know, cowardly and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons why there's stuff like, people liked him in the first Metal Gear Solid game, and then in Metal Gear Solid 2 he made it that he almost let his sister drown because he was having sex with his stepmother, and that killed his dad. And people still liked Otacon at that point. So then he just made Otacon's dad and made him truly loathsome.
I was gonna say, I think...
Yeah.
Compared to Huey, I'm pretty sure Otacon handled life like a responsible adult.
Yeah, no, Hal has a character arc. Also, I think I got the moonsault about right.
Oh?
Yeah. Oh. To me, the moonsault logically had to be somewhere between a moonwalk and a salty dog. But it had to have a certain Neo Kobe vibe to it. So it's 50 mils of gin, 30 mils of sake, which, what it's worth, is actually called Nihonshu while you're over there, because sake just means booze.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like one of those fucking gags that sort of got passed down. Like, I'm gonna say logically, I don't know, but I was to guess, someone was drinking some rice wine or whatever, and was like, "This is good. What do you call this?" And some absolute wit just said sake back to him, which is basically saying, "Well, what do you call this?" It's called booze. So yeah, in Japan, if you're, they will understand because it's so global now. But if you're actually ordering a sake, you got to ask for a Nihonshu.
Okay.
Fun fact. So yeah. So wait, yeah, 50 mils of gin,
so
30 or 35 of sake, 100 mils of freshly squeezed grapefruit juice, 15 mils of triple sec, a dash of aromatic bitters, shake over ice, served in a salted rimmed glass.
Huh.
Preferably chilled. Because it needs to be something that will, to me, would go well with food, because Gillian has it with a bunch of buffalo or a bunch of whale, so I had to allow for both.
Now, when you say
But
chilled,
also had to be something that if you drank 3 of them, it would get you pretty fucked up.
Oh, well, sure.
And if you drank 3 of them quickly, yeah, you'd be pretty toasted by the end of it.
When you say chilled, do you mean sticking it in a fridge or a freezer?
The glass should come out of a freezer, yes.
Oh, the glass was in a freezer before you poured the
Yes.
drink. Okay.
Correct.
I get it.
I mean, I don't got a massive amount of freezer space, but like if I know I'm going to be drinking a Vespa, a Gibson, or a Manhattan later, try and have a glass iced ahead of time. Because I don't drink a huge amount these days, but when I drink, I like to drink properly. Anyway, so what do you think of the game? It's nice to know that Katrina at least knows about her dog now.
Yeah.
That's been cleared up.
I didn't want to... I was reminded of something earlier when the subject of orbital lasers came up, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to spoil the dramatic finale. I was reminded of a bit in Interstate 82, the sequel to Interstate 76.
Right.
Where towards the end of the game, when the protagonists have been pursued ad nauseum by the creepers for most of the game, they suddenly start getting, out of nowhere comes a beam from on high attempting to destroy their car, and the one character, Sky, is like, "Oh, I know what this is. This is a strategic defense, Star Wars or whatever." And Taurus is like, she's real calm about it, and Taurus is just like, "You mean we're being shot at from orbit?" Just the sheer insanity
Yes.
of that of that in a game about, you know, weaponized cars.
Fuck yeah. It's very much a hat tip as far as I'm concerned to Akira, I would say.
Sure.
Yeah, the Soul Satellite.
It even has that shot, the spherical expanding energy explosion.
It does. Which blasted out a bunch of buildings. That's the abandoned sections of old Neo Kobe. So
Gotcha.
It didn't kill anyone besides who was in the. Although I mean, I'm not convinced that if we got a sequel that we wouldn't get like an even more messed up random.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like the fucking TPX, like just knocked him unconscious, basically.
Somebody, I think Mr. Bad Guy, was unconvinced that even the laser strike killed random.
Well, yes, and there'll be further evidence to suggest this, frankly. I can't think about, the sequel they set up for Snatcher too much, because it's just depressing, because we're never getting it. Those three girls together kind of look like if 3 of the Sailor Scouts caught up in their 30s and started hanging out again.
Yeah. So wait,
you can sort of see Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter there.
I was about to ask if Jamie represents the Moon or Venus in this case, but yeah, Venus makes more sense with that hairstyle.
Yes. One of the things I really like about the translation option is that Gillian, for the most part, unless you pick some very bad options, just thinks of Katrine as a child. Because I mean, I know that she's like 18 in the translated version, but like he's still like in his 30s or whatever. So.
So have they finalized what they're going to do about Junker operations? I suppose this will end up being our last mission, huh?
Well, originally they were planning on disbanding the team, but now they've decided to keep us in business.
So that means...
That's right. We've been designated as one of the government's special police divisions. That puts us above the regular cops.
So the government has decided that crime by machines poses a bigger threat than crime by humans from here on out, huh?
They've chosen the new chief, too. So when you get back, you'll get to meet the new head honcho.
Well, it's comforting to know I've got a place I can come back to.
I was kind of hoping that in the twist...
Oh. He got promoted.
Yes! Shock twist, there is actually a ranking system in Snatcher, same as in the Metal Gear games. Second Lieutenant means you did about right. A lot of people get Second Lieutenant. You have to basically never get hit by insectors or whatever. To not need hints to do better. I was kind of hoping that, like, I imagine that if Kojima made this game again, he would make Mika the new Chief Junker and she's just fucking with you here. I'd like to think that's what he would do.
Yeah. Like we were we talking about that before? Like you were hoping.
And then you get back, and then you're like, surprise, asshole.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, you were saying you thought it'd be cool if Katrina was playable.
Oh, sorry, no. If Mika was the new.
Oh, okay.
I was also saying that I think it'd be cool if Katrina became a Junker.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Because I remember I mentioned
Mika became the chief.
I mentioned. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Because I remember we were talking about that before, and I mentioned that I saw some art where it was like an artist's conception of if Ashley Graham was playable in a future Resident Evil.
Hell yes.
And I remember hearing some information came out about the now long canceled Dead Space 4 not too long ago.
Yeah.
And there was a possibility that Ellie Langford was going to be the player character in that one instead of Isaac.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
That would have been neat.
Yeah. Thinking about games that'll never happen. Yes, I'm still bitter about Silent Hills. Incredibly bitter.
I mean, how do you think I feel? I'm still bitter about Auto Assault.
Yeah, fair.
Not that that's
Maybe...
worse or anything. I'm
no,
not one-upping you.
No, not at all. It's not a matter of one-upmanship. We're just having a collective fucking sad drink about games we're never going to see together.
Commiserate.
Yeah, basically. Like the more I think about it's not just that Silent Hills looked pretty scary and had like good graphics and atmosphere and whatnot. It's the fact that it was the final straw for Guillermo del Toro not making video games anymore. He's never going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, because they scared him away from it, right? Like
he was convinced he was bad luck.
His role in Death Stranding is just a voice credit, right?
I don't think it's even just like a motion capture credit. I don't think he's doing the voice of his character.
Oh, damn. All right.
Yeah.
When you get back from this job, you still have a dinner date to keep with me, you know.
Don't worry. I won't forget my promises to either of you. Oops, almost forgot. Of course, I want to spend some private moments with my wife, too, huh? What's wrong, Jamie?
Ooh.
Harry and I will be waiting for you to get home.
That's Harry's hat.
We can do it this time, Gillian. Not some fake couple like before, but with love and trust.
I know, Jamie.
Take care, Gillian.
I'll see you, Jamie.
Wait for me. Take me with you, please.
Metal?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
the poor bastard. He's a Sega 32.
So this is just
No, he's a
temporary
Sega CD.
Just call me Metal Gear. Sega CD for now.
So
Sega
they
shit.
found your memory chip in one piece, eh?
You have seen the games, right?
From the blast of the beam.
Random.
Wrong
huh?
answer, man.
Wait a second.
Uh-oh.
I've heard that sneeze somewhere before.
Oh, is Napoleon here?
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
I wanna
that's
know
all
if
you
you'll
see.
take me with you. Please, Gillian, please take me with you.
Hurry up and get on board, partner.
Yes, sir, Gillian.
Now all we need is a little Neo Kobe pizza and a lot of luck.
I'll be honest. I was kind of hoping for a reprise of One Night in Neo Kobe.
Yeah, they didn't do that. But we get some nice credit over the, yeah.
Suspicion has always bred conflict. The real conflict, though, resides in people's hearts. This conflict has just begun.
Da-da-dun-dun-dun. So we're gonna get some nice artwork over this, so that's cool.
Oh, nice.
Nice work, Jeremy Blaustein, seriously. I'm not sure if Gillian's actually meant to look like someone, or if he's just meant to look like a bit like a Katsuhiro Otomohiro, just in general. It'd be one of these things that even if a character doesn't look like someone anymore, they might still have a starting point. I mean, you're an artist, you know this. The way, like, you know where you started with a character, but like if someone wants to look at it, they wouldn't be able to get that. You know where you started, but no one else would.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cooking up an OC right now, and like I know the piece of art I found that was the genesis for the character, but I don't think
Yeah.
it'll show through in the final product.
Yeah, I mean, which is honestly good, because it still means that you've got like that spark, but no one's gonna be like, well, I know where this came from.
Hey, Kiryu Mocha.
Hey! Nice! I didn't know that. I've learned something today.
This is nice art. Is this taken from those calendar pictures you showed us?
It's not.
Oh.
Well, that's the thing. There is more out there that I am still digging up. Like the ones of showing like how Metal Gear's arms work and stuff like that. I only came across recently. The best advice I can offer to anyone looking to see, that's a cool shot. Random's a cool character.
He is. Actually cooler than I expected.
Yeah.
When he showed up at the Nielsen house, I thought he was kind of a dork.
Yeah. I want to say I got the name. I compared Random's voice to the wrong cartoon character. I said he sounded like Yogi Bear. That's not fair. He sounds like Top Cat.
Which one was Top Cat?
He was basically like a gang of like crooks. He was like a cat. He was like yellow. He wore like a burgundy waistcoat and hat.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he had the same thing where he had that sort of New England sort of lilt to his voice.
Yeah, Mr. Bad Guy. The overall look is 100% Blade Runner. The coat especially.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. You'll notice in some of the little character talking portraits or whatever, like whether Gillian has the little Deckard sort of cog marks in his coat collar or not varies from shot to shot. They couldn't keep track of it. Bless you, ramen guy. Yeah, you never met the fortune teller. That's okay. She has a really, really horrible voice.
Yeah, all right.
She claims to be a fortune teller. She's actually just like a hacker with special contact lenses in that steals a bunch of your information.
Oh, I like this picture.
It's cool, huh? And we confirmed Random's just using a fucking sawn off.
Yeah, I mean that's what I drew him with in the 6 fan arts.
There's a lot of fan art of him using such a thing.
It's hard to tell.
That means he's a really good shot.
Hard to tell with the angle I went with. I was just kind of cribbing off his art.
Great fan art, by the way, though.
Oh, thank you. The art of Random and the art of Vasquez, those two I thought were the ones I was least satisfied with.
Really? That's an overall win then.
But those are the two that impressed all the non-artistic adults that I showed that piece to.
There you go.
Because it has that, I guess.
They looked really slick, and I get what you mean.
That sort of
disparity between
mechanical quality to them, I guess.
Yeah, basically. There's, it's honestly nice to have someone to talk about that with. The disparity between the bit that the artists like the most and the bit that other people were always gonna think is the best.
Like I personally thought the best was Misfortune.
I'd say that is true, yes. Although I really liked how you drew the guy from Promare.
Yeah, that was disarmingly easy. That one.
Really? No, I can see that. It's sort of your wheelhouse, huh?
I guess.
Well, I mean,
I typically don't try.
Your wheelhouse is pretty extensive at this point.
I'm not really sure.
I mean, your wheelhouse includes mecha.
Well, yeah, I suppose it does. Maybe I should draw an atlas. I've been considering it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, the atlas is slowing me down. I mean, like I didn't know what to bring to it, so I'm putting it in a funny pose. I don't know why. You know that it's like that one meme pose they do. I think it's been drawn as like the frog or whatever. But it's the one where it's like someone's disagreed with you, and so it's doing this massive wind-up punch. Yeah, I'm doing the atlas like that. Because it made me laugh.
I disagree with you, so I'm gonna slug you with a fucking atlas.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm trying to think if there's anything we've still got to cover on this.
I guess this is it. The old stops at the end of the credits.
Yes, it does. I mean, I'm sure that when we do future Let's Plays, there'll be something that occurs to us about Snatcher that we can also add, because the errata on this game is huge. But, oh yeah, sorry. My advice to anyone who wants to find more Snatcher artwork, especially, and Snatcher information, is to write Snatcher in katakana. If you don't have a katakana keyboard adaptation, or can find a website where it's adapted, just go to the Wikipedia page for Snatcher, because I believe there is one, and highlight the katakana bit that says Sunacha, and then Google search Snatcher in Japanese. And you will probably uncover some websites and artwork, and find a bunch of stuff that will prove a bunch of shit I've said utterly wrong. But that's why it's important to do your own research. I just hope that, we can get you started. I guess the next question is, what do we do next? Do we slide neatly into the theme of man in trench coat and small robot and play Beneath a Steel Sky?
I've never played that one.
Well, you might like it. It's a genuinely good third-person point-and-click adventure, which is, I think, it's meant to be set in Australia. So there'd be some interesting cultural notes to that effect.
I did not know.
You're the main character. Main character has been raised by Aboriginal Australians, and he didn't have a name, but the only thing that was near him was a beer can. So your name is Foster.
Wow.
Yeah. Which, for the life of me, I cannot find Foster's beer in Australia.
They don't... Wait, you can't find it in Australia?
Yeah, it's... I drank a can of Foster's Light Ice. There's a little deal I had going with my parents where when I was like 15 or something, so like below the drinking age, if it was like New Year's Eve, I got to like purchase like one beer. So I just bought the biggest one because to me that was value for money, and the biggest beer available was Foster's Light Ice. And
we used to call them we call them oil cans over here.
It would be like a tall boy, like a 440 ml.
Yeah, I remember that the Foster's can in particular is like the biggest beer.
It could be, yeah. And this one was huge, but it almost convinced me that I hated beer.
Yeah, I was under the impression that actual Australians don't touch this stuff, that you made it for export.
Well, I mean, I've done sort of like beer reviews during my streams before, but for the life of me, like, they release Foster's like once every 10 years or something for special events. And honestly, like, compared to stuff like fucking VB or Red Cans, it's not exceptionally bad. It's just kind of, it's like,
I don't know. I don't.
It's like Coors or something, you know. It's just, it's not great.
I do not drink beer, so.
Well, for what's worth, Coors is like soda water.
Oh, well, I don't drink soda water either.
Yeah. Oh, would you?
I'm kind of picky.
Imagine if something just tasted like fizz and nothing else.
Yeah, see, those are I avoid those kind of drinks like the plague. I can't stand fizz. I don't drink anything
for those of you
carbonated.
When it comes to like Australian beers that you can get in most places, I mean, a lot of people drink VB, which is like drinking metal.
Ugh.
Like it's been said by a few people, quite famously, but it literally tastes like the inside of the tin.
Ugh.
In my own case, if I'm drinking like the cheapest Australian beer I drink is probably this thing that's called 4X, and that's it's just aggressively smooth and simple. So if you had to drink like 6 cans of it in like less than 5 minutes, you absolutely could. It's like drinking slightly flat Sprite. I'm not gonna say it's good, but like if you've got no other choice, then you drink 4X.
I think I would drink water at that point.
Yes, I think a sensible person would. There's parts of Australia where I wouldn't drink the water.
Ooh,
so.
right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a little bit alkaline, a little bit high in minerals,
Ugh.
a little bit cloudy once you get up to Cuba PD and Alice Springs.
Yeah, I mean, I can't judge. I have a filter on my tap.
Smart. Very smart. I don't, but then again, like the water where I'm from is like, it's slightly not not. It's heavy. So I mean, there's stuff in it, but you stop noticing, and a bunch of it's actually good for you. So.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. And it makes look. I'm getting off subject here. Snatcher.
Sorry. Snatcher. Yes.
Overall impression.
Oh, I liked it.
Oh,
I liked it a lot more than I expected to going in.
You get that.
I thought it was surprisingly well done in a lot of areas. I shouldn't be
Yes.
surprised it's a Kojima title, but it's.
I'm not gonna say he hits it every time, but
No, but it is also the only Kojima game I've played so far that isn't Metal Gear. So it was interesting seeing something else for once.
yes, I've never found myself able to get completely into Police Noughts.
I have not played it.
Yeah. Something about it doesn't work for me. But no, I've been looking at a lot of. There's a bunch of really cool looking first person, interface based, really good style and atmosphere, point and click murder or detective games. They're all in Japanese. My Japanese is not good enough. So, what I'm hoping is, I feel like this is the sort of game that like a single devoted game maker or a small team, like 3 people, could probably get together, and with sufficient style, it would still do well for all its limitations, for all its linearity. I think if you make it as stylish as Snatcher was, then it would still be successful even today.
Yeah, I feel like something even remotely like this would find an audience now, especially on Steam.
Yes. Well, and I'm thinking of stuff like, and it's not a direct comparison, but like in terms of the simplicity, graphically speaking anyway, sort of like the Obra Dinn and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Or Papers, Please, where if you've got enough going on, then a simple style and key events always occurring isn't really a problem, if you sell it correctly. But anyways, this was fun. Thank you for letting me join you on this journey. It's such a wonderful thing.
Thank you for accompanying me. I'm sure I would not have enjoyed it as much had I played it alone.
You know what? Absolutely mutual. Absolutely mutual. It's one of these things where to find someone who's good enough at video games, but also doesn't know every twist and turn of Snatcher, provides an utterly unique perspective. And I've learned more about Mecha than I ever thought I possibly could.
Yeah, it's surprising how much in this reminds me of completely, entirely different games that I played as a kid.
I feel like that'll be the advantage going forward. Like, I don't want to force anything. I can't stress that enough. But, like, you and I playing games, I feel like we have a lot of information to ramble at people about stuff they never knew they needed to know about.
Well, it helps that we have a shared interest in enlightening people about obscure game facts.
Heck yes. And I like that anytime either of us says a voice actor, the other one's just like on board, basically.
I mean, sure. I'm not going to recognize every Japanese voice actor, unfortunately, but...
Well, no. I mean, fuck, I don't. I was patting myself on the back for spotting fucking Aoi Yuki in Cyberpunk. That's about it. Anyways, that was quick.
Was it?
I guess
that didn't... Oh, well, I guess this session wasn't very long.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a short session. Hey, no interruptions.
We could keep going if you want. Play something else.
Like what do you have in mind?
Well, I didn't. I'd have to give it a moment's thought.
No, it's all good. Look, for now, I'm gonna get to some drawing, and you should do whatever you're gonna do with your time after work, and we'll pick this up another time, I think.
All right.
And again, we don't have to rush this. We can wait until it's right. Wait until we've got it figured out, and then bring something that hopefully will
definitely
educate and entertain.
Yeah, definitely. If we're gonna pick up this procedure again, we should come up with come up with the game first.
Yeah. In terms of like thematic connection, as I've said before, Manhunter springs to mind. I cannot recommend it actually as a good game. For all I know, you might enjoy it, but I cannot in good conscience recommend it as an actually enjoyable game. Just as, well, that sure was a thing.